Hey, what is up, guys? Recephus here with Tech Tricks Gaming, and today I'm bringing you a quick tutorial on how to make simple yet epic sounding drums. The plugin I'm using for this video is Contact 5. The library I'm using is Damage. Heaviosity Damage. As you see, I also have session strings and evolved mutations, and this is all paid for. But you can do the same thing with any other kit that you may have or that you may want to use. So we're just going to start off making sure you choose your library that you choose to use, whichever you desire. In this case, I'm using Contact, and I'm using Heaviosity. So step 1, complete. 2, you're going to want to make sure it's routed. How you do that, you go to your settings, and I'm using FL Studio 12 to do this, and you want to make sure your input port and output port are at 0, 1, just make sure that these numbers are matching, no matter what. Alright, and then you want to go over to Add Channel, add yourself a MIDI. And you want to head over to your port and make sure that it matches whatever number this is. So this could be at 2, okay? 2 and 2, hit save, then change this port to 2. Make sure that is at 2. I'll just put this back to 0 since I already have 3 other MIDIs linked to 0. Easier on my part. Okay. My voice is a bit raspy. I've been coughing all day, but anyways, so we're going to head over. I already have some pre-made patterns I've been working on, and I'll just show you what they sound like. Pattern 1 and pattern 2 with my little melody. I like this one because it feels like I'm playing Titanfall. It reminds me of Titanfall. And then my other one, I just created this before I started the video. I don't know. Tell me what you think. So, I'm at the point where I can make some pretty cool beats, some nice drums, a nice drum line for, whatever piece I'm composing, and my melody may be pretty solid, but I run into a problem. They don't match up. Either I start with my drums first, and then I make a melody, and just something about it isn't right, or I make my melody first, such as if I use a string animator, to where I need to make that first, and then add the drums later. And see, something like that, for example, as an animator, like the violin animator, it already sounds like it already has its own drum line to it because of the way they sound. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. I'm going to clone this, easier than just dragging and dropping. Okay, cloned. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to open up M-Town sections 1 and 2 ensemble Annie. A-N-I. That means you're going to animate your strings. Now you can choose any one of these and go into your articulation and change the animation part of it. It's just, they're all the same, but these are just preset and they're loaded for you, so you just have to click them and load. This will take some time. It's about 8.9 gigs because it's FLAC audio. It's pure samples of audio, and you lose almost no quality of the audio whatsoever, which is why it's so big. And now keep in mind that it's very demanding on your CPU and on your hard drive. All right, each note that you play according to your ensemble or whatever instrument you're using is called a voice, and how many voices you have is dependent on how much you're going to use your CPU and how many threads it's going to use of your CPU. So whenever you're using high quality audio, you always want to make sure that you have pretty good equipment and hardware to do such a thing. I have a basic 6 core from AMD, nothing special, and a 960 and a 120 gig PNY SSD, so it's enough to get by. And you can see it's loading up in the RAM right now, pretty quick. And you can see that the dynamic of each stroke on the string. And I can change that from a chord 1, each phrase I'm going to call it. You can go to 4/4, 4/4 trilling, or 3/4. I like the 4/4 trilling. You can change the dynamics of each note being played. You can also do it here too. This is what the animator is, and you can change that to get different sounds. So you hear that. So I can change this, and it's gonna sound a lot different. It sounds a bit different. I'm gonna reload that. Go ahead and increase the dynamic of it, and you can see what it does to it. Right. The groove is how fast you want it to be played. Right now it's 1/8 trilling, 16th. Or you can slow this down to, let's go an eighth. Really all depending on what you're feeling. You can change the swing of it, so like it's transition between each note, and you can also change the length. And the length is how long it's held out. So in other words, not necessarily legato, but whenever you play it and it's released, it sounds more legato, I should say. I mean, not really, but it just sounds more drawn out as you play the note. We'll head over to articulation, and you can change between the animator or sustain accent. This is what I was talking about earlier between these presets. This is just telling you that it's already loaded. This is set for performance, and this is production. Okay, animation just means it's on the animator. Performance means it's on sustain. Production, I'm not sure. I haven't done this. Chose production yet, but I mean you can mess with it and see what you want. You can increase how much staccato you want on each note being played, and of course you have the velocity and the dynamics of each wave from the sound that is being played here, and you can change the minimum and the maximum curve of the wavelength, which I think that is pretty cool. And then you have your FX. You can change the gain, the frequency, and just how much it sounds, kind of like a built-in equalizer, as it says here. So anyways, let's get to this. Let's go to my settings. You can scrub through the video real quick. I'm just going to get these ports set up. I'll just do 2 and 2 just to be safe. I know I could go to 1, and I'll set this to 2. So now if I go to my MIDI, strings. Alright, so we're going to use the first octave. Should be... We're going to do a major and minor chord melody. Alright, we're going to start with a fifth. Then we're going to go to a major. Then we can go back to a fifth. And then back to a minor. And from the minor, add a B. So you'll see the effect in a bit. So actually, I'm going to go to the third octave. Put down my mic real quick so I can do this. So now that we have our basic chord melody in place, let's play it. Let's see how it sounds. Huh. I wonder why. Oh, I know why. That's why. There we go. Okay. My bad. I forgot something. There we go. Now let's try it. We'll try right here. It adds that effect. Now with this articulation, it sounds very majestic. Like you're in the air, you're flying. Everything's good. It's just that adventurous, happiness, joyous feeling with using these chords. Now, what's really cool is that I'll add to this. So I go down, up, down, then I'm going to go down. So, D. not going to add another G. I'm not going to make it a G6 and a C6, because then it sounds bad and it sounds cluttered and overmessed. The next thing I'm going to want to do is go down, and actually we're going to experiment with this. Take this, we'll highlight this, we're going to copy, and we're going to paste this right down there. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that out, and now watch this. Now, I could add the B down by the C, but you don't get that same effect. You just don't. Make this a G, and then I'll have to put a C. What am I doing? Yeah, what am I doing? No, this is a B. I don't know how this is going to sound. We're going to try this with the C, and we're going to see where I go. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to add the C. I forgot what I was doing. Okay. This is just, it's in the wrong spot. But you kind of get the gist of what's happening here. So... Another one I like to do is the fifths. Now, if you don't take your time to write it, you just go up here to this little tab, and you can choose. You can play a fifth ninth, a fifth octave, a major, blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna read the whole thing out to you because that'll make me look like an idiot. You can read it and you can mess it around with yourself. But I'm gonna choose a fifth. Just paste it and it does it for you. See, that's a fifth. Now I can either make this a major with an F or a minor. A fifth. Okay. So you can use this and you can just mess around with what you get, like a major ninth. Look at that. And then you can also mess with this, the suspended, the advanced, and then here you can choose. Let's see. Let's do a major. These are all the notes you can play within this chord. So it doesn't have to be this chord with all these notes played at the same time. You can change it to your liking. So for example, see, it just sounds weird, but you can. That sounds like a scale. So why not make something out of this? Well, actually, we'll put that here. Copy it. Actually, my bad. Now, whenever I was first learning the studio, is what I like to call it, I had a real hard time with coming up with a melody that could be replayed and not get annoying. You know, it sounded cool at first. I was like, yeah, this could be something. But after a bit, I couldn't stand to hear it on my ears. And here's why. That's because I was not in the right key. So I found out that, hey, I have help. You can use all these different types, like a Locrian, a Lydian, enigmatic, blues, Arabic, alien. You choose. You choose what you want, and it just gives you a set of notes, right, and a scale to work with. I find that just awesome. I couldn't ask for more. So you can mess it around and do what you want, and change the velocity. Obviously, I'm not going to have the whole chord being played because that's a scale. So yeah, that is with Session Strings Pro. Head back over to Damage. Let's try a nice drum beat. So we're going to change this port back to 0. There we go. Now I have some drums to go with. Let's try something here. I'm going to put the mic down real quick. So you can just mess around with it and, make something of your choice that you like. I already have 3 of them made, but you get the gist. I'm going to give you an example real quick. We have this. I'm going to load in something different. To give you an example of what I was just playing, I already have a little melody that I have composed using majors, the 5th, major, and minor. I'm not going to play it just yet because this still has to load in, and it's going to take some time because I have 2 of them trying to load up the memory. I have 16 gigs of RAM installed, so I mean there's a little bit of headroom there. But I have my grand piano, and this is just what FL Studio comes with. It sounds alright. See, I think that's one of the best sounding chords. Sounds good to me. Sustain, and then here, animate. So let's go ahead and see what it sounds like. What's really impressive is this is using only this contact player, right? In my mixer, I have no effects. I have no parametric EQ. I just added this. I have no reverb, no chorus, none of the enhancers, no delay, no gross beat. That is just the plugin doing this. And this is everything stock. Now just to make sure, I'm gonna remove this real quick. Oh, my bad. We'll just turn it off. There we go. Cool. And that to me sounds good. For a basic melody, it sounds great. I can mess with the velocity and the oomph of each note, but I'm not going to go into detail about that right now. This is just a quick, easy tutorial on if you want a bassist for your melodies, right? The key for good sound. And there you have it. Simple as that. And then you can add, say, a backup, and in this case, like a cello, lower notes, have your mids, or then your piano, and then you experiment however else you want it to. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next tutorial. I will probably cover a basic piano melody, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you feel so inclined, check out my Facebook, where you're updated daily with new information. I go live nearly every day, just depending on my schedule. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and leave a comment on what you come up with, and just let me know. Share your ideas. Thank you.